Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. We are Millennial Mom. If you don't know who is who, I'm Millennial. This is Mom.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Mom from Millennial and Mom, and today I'm going to talk about Love After Lockup Season 4 Episode 15, The Rebound and the Monster. But before I begin, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, the like, and don't forget to comment as well along in this video. All right, so let's get started. So we have Sean and Sarah, and I'm just going to add Kelly and Destiny to this as well. So we finally get to see who's knocking at the door at Sean's hotel room, and it's Kelly. Now, why did Sean say that he was surprised to see her? Because Sean did invite Kelly and the kids to the wedding. I mean, did he really think his kids were going to come without their mom? So him being surprised, I think that's typical Sean. So anyways, when Kelly walks in, she tells Sean that, you know what, the boys didn't come with me, only Gracie, because Gracie wants to talk to you. She wants to know who Sarah is, and she wants to see, you know, what kind of relationship you have with her. Because when you came to talk to her the first time when you were with Destiny, you promised all these things, that you would be there for them and that you would make sure you took your time out your day to see how everything was going. And you know, Sean just hasn't lived up to his promise, and Kelly is there to ask him, like, well, why not? Because the kids feel like you put yet another woman in front of them. Now you're having another baby, so it feels like a slap in the face that, okay, so now you have this baby to kind of replace them. He said, that's not it at all. I love my kids and I will do anything for them. This is my life now. They will always be there. They'll always be first. And Kelly's like, no, that's not how they feel. And then Sean breaks down, he gets emotional. And I was surprised because I don't think I've seen Sean cry, or he was crying in his own way. Because even Kelly in her confessional said, like, after 20 years or during these 20 years, she's never seen him cry at all. So maybe the conversation that they had has gotten to him. So moving to Brittany and Marcelino. Brittany's hanging out with her friends for a girls' night when her mom calls and says, hey, I've been with the kids. And Brittany says, what? You've been with the kids? Where's Marcelino? She's like, I don't know. She goes, okay, well, let me call you back. So when Brittany calls Marcelino, she's like, hey, where you at? Marcelino says, I'm at home. And Brittany says, no, you're not. My mom called. She's there watching the kids. So you've been gone this whole time while I've been away? He's like, no, I'm headed home. She goes, that's not what you said. You said you was at home. He goes, no, I said I'm on my way. No, Mars, you said you was at home, so you're trying to clean this up. So when Brittany said, you know, when have I ever been out and not told you where I was or where I was going and all that? And there's a little bit of silence, and she goes, huh? When have I ever done this? And it sounds like Marcelina said, you know what? I don't even care, or I don't know, something like that. She's like, what? See, Brittany gets upset, and I don't blame her. Because, see, they just had marriage counseling. And if I recall correctly, after marriage counseling, when they got back home, Marcelina told Brittany that, you know what, even though he didn't necessarily agree with the marriage counseling, that he wanted to try and fight for his marriage. And, you know, he was going to make a good effort. So with this conversation, when Brittany has to ask, where are you? Where have you been? Where are you going? What are you doing? It's just nothing but silence. It's crickets. And she's like, where are you? Where are you? And then the phone hangs up. And she's like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And the friends are sitting around. Even her ex-girlfriend Amanda is there too, and they can't believe it. And Brittany's like, am I crazy? Am I being insecure? And no, Brittany, I don't think you're being crazy, and I don't think you're being insecure, because like I just mentioned, you wanted to go to marriage therapy to help your marriage, you know, move along and get back healthy again. So no, there's definitely something going on Marcelino's part. And then Brittany breaks down. She goes outside and starts crying, talk about, what am I going to do? You know, I gave him everything. I gave him me, my life. You know, I put everything for him. And, you know, this is his mom's ring, so it just only makes sense to give it back. And one of the friends, I didn't catch her name, she was like, you know what? You need to, like, pretty much dry your tears, okay? You have always been a boss bee. You got a job, you take care of kids, you do this, you do that. Like, what does he do? He's a loser. He sits at home, he only watches the kids, he don't have no job. Again, I thought Marcelino was playing poker. I mean, technically, I don't know if that's a real job or not, but that's what he was doing to bring home money. So I'm not sure if he's still doing that or not. But the friends pretty much were trying to pump Brittany up to let her know, like, you got this. Like, you don't need a man, you're doing whatever, you'll get through this. And I know Brittany is hearing this, but I don't really know if she's hearing it because she's gone through a lot, you know, from prison till now. She's come a long way and given her all, and she really thought that this was her happily ever after. So after all that, Brittany goes in, she gathers herself up and decides to get a tattoo. I guess she said something like a butterfly to something that she's morphing into now. So hopefully we can see what Marcelino was next week, because even I am interested in knowing what is really going on and where he really was. So moving to Deontay and Lindsay. Okay, now we saw a lot of scenes with Deontay and Lindsay this episode of stuff that I just consider TMI. But first, we see them in the car. They're driving to the B&B, and they left off last week where there's sirens going by. So I guess it was leading us to believe that the car was being pulled over. But it was just the police driving by. I guess they were going to an accident. And Lindsay's like, you know what? I'm still nervous about this. You know, I still get PTSD. And she's like, you know what? Everything in the world overwhelms me now. From a phone to even to silverware. I even keep my own plasticware in my purse because I don't even like the way real silverware feels on my teeth. So I guess that's how it is for Lindsay now, because she's been in and out of institutions. And honestly, what Lindsay needs to do is to go ahead and try to get that job interview back that her friend Blaine set up for her, instead of trying to bail people out of prison when she knows she has to have a job in order probably to see her daughter Miley Grace, because her mom don't seem like she's playing games with Lindsay this time around. So anyway, they get to the Airbnb and they end up making out, and clearly they have sex or do what it do. And Deontay in his confessionals bragging about the names that he has for his manhood size. I mean, again, something we don't need to know. And then Lindsay is trying to come up with a name for her womanhood stuff, and again, something we don't need to know. So that's how that went. So after it was over, we see them again laying in bed, and the topic of finances come up somehow. And I guess it's something about Deontay maybe thinking about moving. Then Deontay said, well, you know, I don't have a lot of money and I don't have the best credit and stuff like that. Then Deontay says, you know, I've spent $40,000 on my last relationship. I'm thinking, wow, you spent $40,000 on Nicole and you just was strung along from A to Z, and then Nicole ended up marrying whoever she married and just never okay. I mean, honestly, Deontay, I'm at a loss for words for that one. So then Lindsay says, well, I can help you. I can help you with your finances. And then she grabs a laptop and opens the laptop and says, and I guess she's looking at his credit report or whatever she's looking at, maybe his bank stuff, statements online. And she goes, oh, so you have like $15,000 in debt? She goes, as many shoes, as many Jordans you have, you could sell some of that. Deontay's like, no, I'm not selling my stuff. Now, Deontay, you already worked 2 jobs. You talking about maybe moving to Mississippi for Lindsay, which I personally think is a bad idea. And you're in so much debt, but why would you let Lindsay look at your financial stuff? I'm just saying. I mean, Deontay, come on now. Get a better grip than that. But just my opinion. Moving on. So next up, we have Chaz and Branwyn. Now, before Chaz goes back to Kentucky, he sees Branwyn one more time. They go out to the cabin Airbnb that he has, and before he gets there, Chaz just thinks it's okay to tell us that he's been manscaped everywhere. So he's just as smooth for Branwyn. He feels like she's really gonna like that, especially since the strip club. So when he gets to pick up Branwyn, he picks her up from class. Just the look on Branwyn's face is so exhausting. I mean, you could tell there's something wrong. I mean, just her, there's like the color drained from her face. So She gets in the car. She says she's doing fine. He's like, are you sure? Because, I mean, if I can see she don't look fine, she's sitting next to Chaz. He clearly sees she's not doing fine, but she's trying to play it off. So when they finally get to the cabin, Chaz has some dinner for her, and they're eating, and he's trying to make it comfortable and cozy, but Branwyn is so checked out at this point. Well, actually, she's been checked out, but she's so checked out that she's barely eating. She's got her head down, and he's trying to talk to her, and she's just giving like very vague answers and stuff like that. And then Branwyn gets emotional when Chaz asks her, so what do you think about what your friends had to say after we left the strip club? Because, you know, the friends are also telling Chaz that, you know, Branwyn's life is here, and her daughter's here, and just the things that she knows here, she's comfortable. But I think the friends said that not because Branwyn really is comfortable there, but they don't care for Chaz, and they don't really think that Chaz is the man for her or her cup of tea, so they're trying to get Branwyn to stay. But I also think with the friends are saying, and how Branwyn is feeling fresh out of prison, and just seeing her daughter again after all these years, that Branwyn's like feeling a tug of war when it comes to Chaz. And I still think that she has a thing for Aaron. So I do think she's comfortable where she's at. So like I said, Branwyn's getting really emotional, and she breaks down completely. Talk about you don't know how it feels and all of that stuff. So then Chaz says, when she's breaking down, well, hey, why don't I just get a blanket? We can cozy up. I'm thinking, Chaz, can you read the room? Why would she want to be cuddled up right now? I mean, you could listen to what she has to say, but I mean, under the blanket, stuff like that. And see, Chaz has a different motive, because when he's talking to Branwyn, he's kind of like rubbing her arm, and it looked like he was kind of like just, you know, rubbing her leg, and then the conversation changes to more of a sexual conversation, and she says, wow, you changed gears real fast. And I was thinking the same thing. But consummating the marriage and being sexual with Branwyn has always been at the top of Chaz's mind anyways. So when he starts doing that, she really breaks down. She breaks down and she shuts down. So then she gets up to go outside, and she calls her counselor or someone who supports her, and she breaks all the way down, saying, you know, how she doesn't know what to do. She knows that either way, there's, you know, she has feelings for her husband, feelings for her friends. I think just deep down, she doesn't want to tell Chaz what she really wants. So when she's out talking to her sponsor, Chaz is saying to producers that, you know, this trip has been bad from the jump. He doesn't know where all these things are coming from. And he's thinking, you know, maybe he's got to bow out this marriage. I mean, he's sitting there really contemplating what the next move is, hoping that maybe, possibly Branwyn will change her mind, but I don't think she will. So after she comes back in from talking to her sponsor, she's calmed down. They get back in the car, and he drops her back off at her house, and he asks her, do you need me to help you with anything? She's like, no, and gets out the car. And he drives off, and that was it. So now we finally get to see what's going on with Brittany and Ray. I mean, they haven't been on since the first week that the show has been back on, so I'm glad we get to see them again. So Brittany calls Ray to see where he's at, where he, you know, what he's doing. And he goes, no, I'm at the house. I'm not doing nothing. And she's like, oh, okay, well, I just was asking. And so when she hangs out with him, she tells in confessional, oh, I don't know why he's lying. I can see where he's at. I got an app on my phone. So his location said he's not at home. So then we see Brittany go into a restaurant, and who does she meet? Ray's grandma. Now, Ray's grandma was one of the stars of the show of their season, if you ask me. So she pretty much went there to ask Ray's grandma for advice about what's going on with Ray, what can she expect with Ray, and does she think that they'll move forward? And the grandma says, you know what, it's a new type of love, and getting to know each other, getting the feel of each other is going to take some time. And the grandma said, well, what else do you want him to do? He's giving you a promise ring, so what is it more that you need? And Brittany said she needs more of a commitment. Now, I have to agree with that. I believe that Brittany needs more of a commitment, because I mean, a promise ring, like, what is she, like 17? You know, she would need a real ring. I understand where he was coming from because he was fresh out of prison. He was just starting to work and maybe he couldn't afford the ring that she wanted, but still a promise ring, I guess. Then Brittany brings up the fact that when she called Ray, she knew he wasn't at home and that the location was on the phone. The grandmother's like, well, why would you want to do that? Like, why? Because if you're looking for something, you may find something. That's what she was getting at with Brittany. And the grandmother, when they were having that conversation, really gave Brittany some good advice. Like, you know, he's a good man. He loves you, wants to be with you. You want to be with him. Just things take time. So let it take, you know, the right course. And I agree with that because I think Brittany has to let things happen naturally because she's definitely not doing that. She's pushing, pressuring. She's been doing that from Ray since when he came home. So, you know, alienating him to just her, like she don't want him to hang out with friends and she's always looking like, oh, he must be out with some hoes. How is that positive in your relationship? The grandma says in her confessional that Brittany needs to have more confidence in herself, and I agree. So after that, Brittany's at home and Ray calls her this time and he asks her to meet him for dinner at the lakefront or waterfront, something like that. She's like, okay, cool. So while she gets ready, she calls her friend or sister, I'm not sure which one, says, okay, girl, he wants me to meet him at the waterfront. And the friend says, oh, so do you think this is it? Do you think he'll propose? She goes, well, I know he's going to propose, but I don't think right now. And the friend said, well, yeah, because when you get your promise ring when we was in Miami, it was a bunch of us around the group, so maybe he'll want to do it with the group this time. So, girl, don't get dressed up too much. Just wear something like real casual. And Brittany's like, yeah, I'll just wear like a top and some pants or something. But I'll let you know. So Brittany and Ray both get to their destination and they just start walking. And he's talking to Brittany, asking her how her day was and all that good stuff. And then in confessional, Ray said he's nervous to ask Brittany to marry him, but he's going to because he didn't get her father's blessing just yet. So that's why he was nervous. So then Ray stops. He goes, you know, before we get too far, you know, I just want to tell you, you know, I love you. We've been living together for a long time. And boom, here's her engagement ring. And Brittany is happy. She finally got her real engagement ring. She's showing it off. So congratulations, you two. I'm looking forward to see how the wedding goes. Moving to Kevin, Tiffany, and Kayla. So it's back to Kevin's house and Kayla's still there. She's still arguing with Kevin and she's still being manipulative and talking about, you know, about Tiffany this and why you got to be with different B's and, you know, I'm the main B and like, I don't understand what's going on. And she goes, well, if you guys are in a relationship, like, why are you still messing with me? But you know what? Kevin did tell her that he is talking to Tiffany, but see, Kayla is not getting the message for some reason. But I can see why, because Kevin's giving mixed signals, and actually Kayla is receiving those signals and giving it back. But after all that arguing and carrying on, Kayla asks for more wine, and you know what happens next? They both go in Kevin's room, and they also make it do what it do. I'm like, see there? This is why Kayla gets upset, and she gets to talking crazy, popping up, showing at your house, because you're making it seem like she's number one. But at the same time, Kayla shouldn't be doing that, acting a fool, this and that. She ought to know if she's truly in a relationship with you. Neither one of y'all should have to question who is and who isn't. Then after that, they're done doing whatever they do. Kayla's talking about, so are you really kicking it with me or with Tiffany? I'm like, here we go, round and round again, round and round. Even if Kevin came straight out and was like, okay, I want to be with Tiffany, I don't think Kayla would take that as a real answer. I just think that she would still be like, you know who it is, you know what it is, because Kayla's really out there. I can see why they call her Crazy KK. Kayla leaves happy because she got what she wanted from Kevin. I guess she thought she got one over on him, but really she didn't. Kevin did what he wanted to do, and so did Kayla because he knew she would do it, and Kayla did too. So now we have Kevin's Jr. and Kevin setting up the barbecue, and here comes Kevin's mom to come over for dinner. One of the first things his mom says is, so what's been going on? And then Kevin mentions his drama with Kayla and Tiffany. And the mom said something interesting. She said, you know what? I never liked Tiffany anyways. I don't like the way she treated you from the very beginning. And for me, that's a no. She goes, I don't even know why you being bothered with this stress. And I was like, you tell him, Mom, because Kevin, even though he claims he don't like the drama with Kayla, but you're also having drama with Tiffany. And you did see how Tiffany did do you wrong when you was picking her up. She had the other dude there that you had to knock out, in your words. So I don't know what kind of game this is, but it's a merry-go-round that I personally wouldn't be on, but it's not about me. And Kevin is telling his mom how Kayla found out about the relationship with Tiffany, how they were on another website trying to get another woman, to bring in a relationship. And Kevin Jr.'s like, why would you want that? Even the mom was like, why would you want all that? Like, why would you even do that again? He goes, she said, the best thing you need to do is make up your mind. She said, I think you've known Kayla long enough. Kayla, not Tiffany now. You've known Kayla long enough. She knows you. You know her. You know the ins and outs. I think you really love Kayla, and I think that's the one you want to be with. And I'm thinking, maybe Mom haven't really seen all the drama ins and outs that Kayla brings. So, I don't know. Maybe Kevin and Kayla have a longer history than what we know about. So then, the doorbell rings. He goes to answer it, and I guess we'll have to find out who that is next week. Moving on to Puppy and Amber. Puppy's on her way to meet up with Amber to go shopping, but Eric is driving her to meet Amber, and in the car he asks Puppy, so how much money you have? She's like, not enough. So then you can see Eric count the money, and apparently Eric gives Puppy as much money as he wants to give her, not what Puppy thinks that she needs. Puppy says, you know what, that's why he's controlling. He likes to control me. And I don't think it's just control when it comes to money. I think it's control with other things as well, because I think Puppy is very naive when it comes to love, and also love with Eric. So now that Puppy made it to Amber, they go shopping, and Puppy just looks like there's something wrong, and Amber picks up on that. But Puppy at first says there's nothing wrong, and then of course Puppy cries, and she says, I think he's been cheating on me. But honestly, is it cheating? I guess so. If he's with his ex still and you know about it, I don't know. Maybe I would call that an open relationship. I don't necessarily know if that's cheating, because Eric tends to do what he wants to do, whether Puppy likes it or not. So then, bombshell is, Puppy says that she hasn't had her cycle in 3 weeks. And Amber's like, what? Girl, we need to go get a pregnancy test, and we need to go get it now. So they drive, get a pregnancy test. They find one. Puppy takes it. Boom. Positive. Puppy's like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Amber said, what? What you needed to do was use some birth control. That should have been priority number one. I'm like, Amber, listen, yeah, she needed to use birth control, but now's not the time. If it's positive, maybe she needs to go to the doctor now to make sure it's 100% positive. But I mean, keep trying to encourage your friend, because you know what kind of relationship she's in. And Amber says, so how do you think Eric's gonna feel? Puppy's like, I don't know. And Amber says, well, it's not good timing. Puppy said, it's never gonna be a good time. I have to agree. It's never gonna be a good time for Puppy. And the Amber is telling her again, like, look, just got out of prison, and I don't think this is the right guy for you. And I mean, that's clear as day. I mean, they were just at the divorce attorney last week, so Puppy knows what she's gotten herself into. And she said herself that she has a weakness for Eric. And then when she tells Eric, we'll have to see how they get along with that and see if, if it's going to be a healthy pregnancy and all. So, Puppy, it's a lot on your plate right now. So we're back in California, and production last week made it seem like Destiny knocking on that hotel room door was knocking on Sean's hotel room door too. But it wasn't. It turns out it was Destiny's mom. Destiny's mom is in a hotel room. She's going on a blind date, and Destiny's there to do her makeup. Shoot, I was hoping it was Destiny knocking on Sean's door, because that would have been a surprise. But Destiny has a surprise of her own. She's telling her mom, Sean owes me money, and I'm ready to collect. Her mom's like, I don't even know why you are bothering with that stress. You have a job. You're getting yourself together. Sometimes you just have to let things go. Destiny's like, no, I'm not doing that. He owes me money. He promised me money, and I want to see his face when I get to the wedding, I object to the wedding, and when Sarah asks me why, I'm gonna be like, Sean owes me money. Pretty much, you're marrying a deadbeat. You're the rebound. I was like, Destiny. Girl, yeah. Okay, so Sarah, from what it seems like, she is the rebound. But come on, Destiny. Doing all that, I don't think it's going to get you any money. Or maybe she's trying to bribe Sean, like, if you want me to go away, I'll take some money. The money that you owe me, like give him a set amount. But the way Destiny is, I don't think so. And then Destiny's pregnant too. And so I personally want to know when the timeline meshed up for her pregnancy by the time that she left Sean to when she got married to her soon-to-be ex, or if he's her ex now, Josh. So that's what I'm waiting to see. So if Destiny shows up in Ohio and Kelly's there and Sarah don't know, fireworks. But I'm here for it though. All right, everybody. So that was the end of Love After Lockup. This was a good episode. So I'm ready to see next week. Hopefully Sean gets married next week and we don't have to wait till the end of the season to see all this go down. So, but anyways, leave me your comments. I'll be happy to read them and respond. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And maybe Millennial will be with me next week for the next video. If not, it'll be just us. So, all right, everybody. Thank you again for watching. And as always, live simply, be grateful.